Your silence made them realize they lost someone genuine * introduction. The sound of silence speaks louder than words. Silence is not always the absence of words. Sometimes it's the loudest scream from a heart that's been ignored too long. You didn't walk away in anger. You didn't yell, didn't plead, didn't beg for them to understand you. Instead, you let silence do the talking. And somehow, that was the moment they finally paused and realized what they had lost. This isn't just a story of heartbreak. It's about self-respect, growth, and reclaiming your emotional power. Many of us, especially those over 25 who've lived through deep, emotional seasons, know that love doesn't die with fireworks. It fades in the quiet, in the way someone takes your care for granted, and how your presence becomes routine instead of rare and cherished. And when you finally stop trying, when you stop explaining, your silence becomes the mirror that reflects what your words could never teach them. 1. Why silence hurts more than arguments. We're conditioned to believe that love should always be loud, full of declarations, confrontations, and passionate expression. But some of the deepest emotional awakenings happen in silence. When you go quiet, it forces the other person to sit with the echo of your absence. There's no longer anyone responding with patience, no one offering understanding, no warmth returning their coldness. And that contrast between how they felt when you were present and the hollow space you leave behind, that's where the lesson begins. Silence isn't passive, it's intentional. It says, I've tried, I've said it all. And now I'll let you feel what life is like without my energy, without my heart, without the quiet kindness you never noticed. If they loved comfort, they now face discomfort. If they loved control, they now face chaos. And if they ever loved you, even a little, they now know the pain of losing someone who was genuine in a world full of fakes. 2. The genuine soul. What you truly brought into their life. Let's pause here, not to dwell on them, but to remember. You were the kind of person who didn't just show up, you invested. You listened, remembered the small things, showed up when they needed you, believed in their potential even when they doubted themselves. That's rare. You didn't love with conditions. You didn't manipulate. You didn't keep score. You gave your time, your patience, your loyalty. You were the kind of person people don't meet twice in one lifetime. And maybe they didn't see it at first. Maybe they mistook your warmth for weakness, your kindness for neediness. But that's the curse of a genuine soul. You give deeply. And most people don't realize your value until you no longer give it to them. 3. Why people only learn after you leave. Here's a truth that hurts but frees us. People don't change when you keep explaining. They change when you stop giving them access. Many of us stay too long believing that if we just love harder, try more, speak more clearly, they'll eventually understand. But for some people, entitlement blinds them. They think your love is permanent. They think no matter how they act, you'll always stay. And then, one day, you don't. You withdraw not out of bitterness, but out of emotional self-respect. You're done being a chapter in their story when they were the whole book in yours. And your silence that void teaches them more than your words ever could. It's only when you're gone that they feel the quiet where your laughter used to be. Notice how no one checks on them like you did. Miss the softness you brought. To their hardest days, that's when the realization hits. They didn't just lose a person. They lost the rare kind of love that doesn't come back twice. 4. Healing begins. Repleting ends. You've reached this point in your life. There's something important to understand. Healing doesn't begin when they apologize. It begins when you stop expecting them to. You see, silence isn't just a tool of communication. It's also the beginning of healing. It's the sacred space where you stop trying to fix someone who never wanted to be fixed and start pouring that energy into yourself. Ask yourself, what did it cost me to keep explaining myself? How much peace did I trade for their temporary attention? Why did I make excuses for someone who never truly saw me? And then breathe. Let go, not to erase the past, but to reclaim the parts of you that got lost in the noise of trying to be enough for someone else. 5. How to apply this at home. Rebuilding your inner self here's where this becomes more than just reflection, it becomes transformation. If you're in the middle of silence right now, or if you're trying to recover from one, here are 5 practical steps to apply today. Step 1. Create boundaries that speak louder than words. Silence doesn't mean ignoring people out of spite. It means honoring yourself enough to no longer engage where you are not respected. Set limits. Be clear about what you will and will not accept moving forward. Step 2. Journal what you couldn't say out loud. Sometimes the pain of not being heard leaves emotions stuck. Write it out, not for them, but for you. Your story deserves to be told, Devin, if it's just to the pages of your journal. Step 3. Fill the space. They left with self-care rituals. What used to be time spent texting, waiting, hoping, fill that space with something healing. Morning walks, listening to music, reading, meditating, working on your health. Reclaim your time. Step 4. Reconnect with people who uplift you. Your silence shouldn't isolate you. Instead, reconnect with old friends, family, or people who see your worth without explanation. Be surprised how quickly your soul reawakens when surrounded by genuine hearts. Step 5. Reflect. Not on what you lost, but what you gained. You lost someone, but you gained something even greater. Clarity. Clarity about who you are, what you need, and what you will no longer settle for. That's not a loss. That's growth. 6. A message to those still hoping they'll return somewhere in your heart. You may still hold on to the hope that they'll come back, that your silence will trigger their transformation. And maybe it will, but remember, your healing cannot depend on their return. If they come back, they must meet the new version of you, the one who values peace over patterns, self-love over old stories. You didn't go quiet to manipulate. You went quiet to find yourself again. And no matter what happens next, whether they return or not, to have already won, because you didn't lose them. They lost you. A genuine soul in a world full of masks. 7. What if they never understand? That's a question many keep asking. What if they never realize? What if they move on, like I never mattered? Here's the truth. Some people never reflect. They move from one distraction to the next, never pausing to feel the weight of what they lost. And that's okay, because healing doesn't require their understanding. It only requires yours. You know what you gave. You know your loyalty was real. You know your love came from an honest place. And when you know that, when you own that, you stop waiting for their acknowledgement to validate your worth. 8. When silence transforms you, over time, silence shifts. At first, it hurts. It feels lonely, confusing, empty. But then it begins to evolve. It becomes the space where clarity enters, to calm after the storm of toxic cycles. The stillness where your self-worth starts to speak louder than their absence. You start to sleep better. You feel lighter. You smile not because they returned, but because you finally returned to yourself. Silence, then, is not just about losing someone. It's about finding the part of you that forgot how powerful you were before them. Conclusion. Let your silence be the beginning, not the end. So here you are, stronger, wiser, quieter. Not because you lost love, but because you finally stopped begging to be understood by someone who wasn't ready to listen. Let your silence be the proof not of pain, but of power. Because the moment you chose to walk away in peace instead of screaming for attention, the moment you chose silence over chasing, was the moment your healing truly began. Final whisper from Awaken Mindset to you at Awaken Mindset. We believe healing begins not when others change, but when you choose peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, and dignity over desperation. If this message resonated with something deep in you, know that you're not alone. You are seen. You are heard. And your silence carries wisdom. If you felt something stir in your heart as you read this, if you saw even a glimpse of your own story in these words, please consider supporting our channel. We're building a space where emotional depth, healing, and self-awareness are not only welcomed but celebrated. Subscribe, share, and journey with us. Let's keep awakening together with gratitude. Awaken mindset.